Abubakar has warned its supporters to stop verbal attacks against presidential hopeful Peter Obi, saying such attacks undermine opposition unity and do not serve the interests of Nigeria or its people. Atiku made the remark in an expose while relating to rising exchanges among supporters of opposition leaders. The former vice president added that such internal divisions within the opposition camp only benefited the ruling APC. Meanwhile, Umar Ado, convener of the League of Northern Democrats, said Obi did not stand a chance of getting the presidential ticket of the new opposition coalition, the African Democratic Congress ADC, ahead of the 2027 general election, unless Atiku stepped down. Joining us on this show to discuss if Atiku holds all the ACs in the ADC ahead of other potential candidates like Peter Obi is Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, former presidential advisor to President Bola Tinubu on political matters. Good morning, Dr. Baba Ahmed, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Hi. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well, Vimba is also here, our Niger wife. Okay, Dr. Baba Ahmed, let me ask you, you are on record as having said, well, maybe it would be better for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to step down. I saw a quote like that. Maybe you didn't say so. But what do you think are the prospects in the APC with Umar, convener of the Northern League of Patriots, Democratic leaders, saying that, well, it's far better for Peter Obi not to even worry about the ticket?
I think the comment that Dr. Ardo made was not that Peter Obi shouldn't contest. The point he was making is that if you go through the conventional process of bringing out a candidate for a party, and that's the convention, not an anointing, not a handover, surrender to the ticket, Peter Obi is likely to lose. He used the word 100 times. I more or less agree with him. Vice President Atiku is head and shoulders better than all the other candidates in terms of emerging through a convention. Either he does this either through experience or he has wider spread, better structures and more loyal people. And he understands the mechanics of internal democratic politics, I think, better than the others. I think Governor Peter Obi's people and himself are not helping his case. What he really needs to do, I think, is to go out and soil his boots. I think he's the most traveled politician I've seen in the recent time, and that's good for him. He tries to stay in touch with grassroots, which is good for him. But what he needs to do now is to really sit down with these people and come to terms with the fact that he is now running against hardline politicians who also have their eyes on the same thing that he has his eyes on. What Vice President Atiku did in terms of saying to his people, calm down, we don't want to start trading insults with each other, was the right thing. Peter Obi should do twice as much. I did a program 2-3 days ago where I mentioned the fact that Peter Obi would lose 100 conventions. You will be amazed at the number of people who commented and insulted me and said, oh, look at these people. How do they think Peter Obi will line up behind Atiku? I'm afraid in the democratic process, that's how it's done. Then you can have a consensus candidate. But you need to have the consensus of people like Atiku, maybe even Amechi, and maybe there are one or two dark horses who are working behind the scene. The point is that ADC's ticket is up for grabs, but it will be a very, very difficult task for anybody to get it other than President Atiku. So you have to choose. You can play your card and stay still within the party. But things like, if I don't get a ticket, I don't stay, or your supporters say, no, give him the ticket. convention or no convention, it has to be UAP. I think those things don't have a place in the democratic process.
Well, there are many things that don't have a place in the democratic process that we still see play out today. But you're absolutely correct. If the due process must be followed, convention must happen, and candidates must be elected, at least by party members. But let me listen. The ADC avoid an implosion that you've predicted in the event, that is, that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar emerges as a flag bearer. Because what the ADC is positioning itself to be is a viable opposition in the next elections. And you've identified an opportunity for them in your last interview, saying that based on the performance of the APC government, it might not be a clear road for them to emerge as winners in 2027. How can the ADC take advantage of this, despite the implosion you're seeing ahead of time if anything happens, during the convention, after the convention? How can they consolidate? How can opposition parties like the ADC work together to present themselves as viable, alternatives come 2027?
Hey, did you know that SMUD is now paying Sacramento homeowners thousands of dollars upfront to put a backup back?
Well, I'm beginning to sound like a broken record when I say the most important thing that ADC can do, and the single most important commitment that Vice President Atiku can make to this country in all his years of labor and strive to build a democratic process in this country is to decide not to run. You've got to do something that is so dramatically outside the box that Nigerians can sit up and say, these are not just another recycled politicians trying to replace Tinubu. And of all those things, it has to be something that Atiku would do. And one of them is not to keep insisting that he has to run. And I will give you my reasons. I'm not the most popular person for Atiku or his camp for saying this, but look at it. President Buhari ran for 8 years. He didn't run well. If he had, he would have mitigated the damage of all this business of, we must have 8 years, we must have 8 years. So President Atiku's, President Buhari's record is not exactly the best preparation to have another northerner and make a case only for the fact that the person comes from the north for him to be elected. Atiku may have a lot of voters in the north, but Buhari has also alienated a huge number of Nigerians from this idea that being from one part of the country bestows upon you a capacity or an instinct for good leadership. So that's going to be a problem. The second one is people would ask, what can somebody like President Atiku and the people around him offer different from what APC and President Tinubu are offering? It's very little, especially when you don't know. They need to come out and say exactly what they are going to do and say it in a manner that Nigerians can sit down and say, but we have an option to all this poverty. We have an option to all this insecurity. We have an option to all these quarrels about coming from one part of the country or coming where there are people who are saying, give us power and we can fix this country. So, but they haven't said so. And I think that they are shortchanging themselves because ADC is substantially outside this terrible danger where the party and a few other sensitive state agencies throw ropes around you and tie you up with litigation and internal frictions until the elections are virtually over. So ADC is in a strong ground. But what ADC is not doing is not playing its card right. What would you do with power? The third reason why I think President Atiku's sacrifice for the nation is the best thing they can do is that it will give him immense powers to decide what happens in ADC and send signals to the people who will be jockeying for positions that he actually calls the shots.
Okay.
If he makes that sacrifice, it gives him huge power. Now, he doesn't become president, but he can decide who becomes president.
All right. So let's look at this scenario and delve deeper into it. If you have an Atiku stepping aside, so to speak, then in your opinion, what is the winning ticket? Is it the Obi Kwankwanso ticket that some people have been putting forward? And in all of this, do you think we are being a little bit too rash in dismissing the ambitions of Rotimi Amechi, who has been seen doing several engagements, especially in the north, with various groups there, and many people are alleging that he's trying to re-engage the late President Buhari's base, so to speak. What's the winning ticket? And Amechi, is he the underrated underdog who might just emerge whilst the focus is on, Atiku and Obi?
Now a local tax expert will do your taxes for $150 all in. No catch.
Okay, we are now proceeding on the assumption that the impossible happens. That President Atiku says, "Okay, I give up my ambition to be president." So let's look at those who are clamoring to fly the ticket. You can settle the issue of who flies the flag even before the convention, but you need to go through the formalities of a convention. You have, and you should mention Rufai as well, even though he says his heart is not in the ring. But so you have Obi, you have Kwankwaso, if he does come in, because Kwankwaso I'm not sure how much Kwankwaso has committed yet to the ADC, but let's assume he's there. Amechi is there, Rufai is there, the former governor of Osun State is there. There are quite a number of Nigerians who have fairly credible records of having held power and quite possibly could offer leadership. Then President Atiku could say, our best hope, for instance, is to say, why don't we produce an Igbo president? Obi is with us. If we combine his huge popularity with the Southeastern Igbo people and the huge number of votes that he got in the north, right, largely because of, I think, the religious element was prominent in the manner people responded in 2023. And then we go out to the country and say, let's try an Igbo president, elected Igbo president, because he's good, not just because he's Igbo president, because he has credible record as governor, and because if we do this, it will certainly be the catalyst for the defeat of APC. That's the kind of things that will go for an Igbo presidency. If it's not going to be Obi, then you have to look for somebody from the Southwest good enough to provide a competition to President Tinubu in the Southwest and in other parts of the country, and say it doesn't have to be a northerner who will take over from Tinubu, but we have somebody from the Southwest, someone who will do incredibly better than this presidency, which is allowing the country to drift and to sink deeper into insecurity and poverty and division. And so that you then have to look for a good person. Amechi would also have his own power base. He can be prepared to be sold to the rest of the country. His drawback would be that he was so closely aligned with Buhari. A lot of people will smell Buhari every time he passes by. So that's going to be his limitation. There's Tambol.
The combination. I understand all these people are throwing their can potentially throw their hat in the ring. But the combination, the presidential, vice presidential ticket for you that you think will really sweep the belly. What is the two names, please? Presidential, vice presidential candidates for ADC, all things being equal.
Stop using Stripe or Square. Use this instead. Tired of losing profits to high credit card processing fees?
The one factor we haven't mentioned is this rather unfortunate but pervasive idea that there must be two-term for someone from the southern part of the country. If it's not Tinubu, it must be a southerner. And amazingly, it appears to have taken place. I mean, taken its position in the mentality of our people. The North should not take the next 4 years. As if you have a Northern candidate, it's entire Northerners who are running. Because you asked, I'm responding in this manner, because you asked the question about the number one and the number two. You can have a number one from the northern part of the country if it's the choice of the party and is good enough to be sold to the country, not only to the north, but to the rest of the country. And then you can have somebody who's who run as his second, but he must also bring on board a huge number of southern votes.
Dr. Baba,
and if you do that,
Dr. Baba,
yes.
let's see time.
Yes.
You are evading Wimba's question. She's asking you specifically to say, on the platform of the ADC, this is the ticket you would prefer. Are you going to say, Atiku Peter Obi, Obi Kwankanso, or Obi Nasir Rufai? That's what we want, not all these permutations about if you have somebody from here, you have somebody. We wanted to hear your own choice, what you recommend. However, we've been talking about ADC. I'd like us to talk about APC, the main opposition party. Now, this week I wrote on a subject saying that, look, Kashim Shettima, Senator Kashim Shettima, is very important to the ticket, and all this controversy that it should be dropped would seem not to make sense. I gave my reasons. I don't want to repeat what I wrote. This morning, we discussed the chairman of the APC, Netanwe Tuada, saying that you have to be a member of APC for you to get a position. And even if you are a technocrat, given a position one way or the other, you must also become partisan. How does that work for diversity and for inclusivity and for competence in terms of how we choose those who lead us, so that we don't end up again in 2027 with motor-packed outs, who are on their way to getting a GCON?
Well, let's take the last point, Dr. Abati. I think that you're an expert on bringing in non-politicians. You worked with President Jonathan, unless I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you worked with him in a very sensitive position. And I know 2 or 3 excellent non-party people who came in to work for him. One of them was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, my former minister in Ministry of Foreign Affairs, an excellent Nigerian with excellent credentials. She didn't just come in as Minister of Finance. She came in as the coordinating minister of the Ministry of Finance. And that was one of the most frustrated people I've seen. She ended up throwing up her hands and saying, they finished all the funds being set aside by the rainy day governors come in and say, why are we saving money when we have needs? Basically, she was there when the Jonathan administration ran the economy aground. Being part of that administration, I'm not too sure you will agree with me. But anyway,
I don't agree with
as an example. I know, I knew you would not agree with me, but let's agree to disagree. The point you raised is, does it make any sense, the comments of the chairman of the APC, that you can have a government as complex as the federal government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, made up purely of politicians or technocrats turned politicians? I was just one of those people in the last week. I almost thought, I hope these guys are not using me as an example. I went in there as a non-political person. I actually have my own party. They knew I am a member of the party, People's Redemption Party, PRP. But anyway, they appointed me there. I went in there. Midway through, or a little bit before midway through, I walked out because I didn't see any value in being there. You have a huge number of excellent people, even as we speak, excellent, well placed to make massive inputs into policy making, policy management, policy implementation, but they don't get involved. So sometimes I ask some of my colleagues, I used to ask some of them, what in the hell are we doing here? We formed cliques, we broke ourselves up. So having a technocrat in government in itself is not necessarily a guarantee that they would use you. So, but it's inconceivable what he's suggesting. If you are going to come into our party, You have to have a party card. You have to show levels of loyalty consistent with our need. How do you run a country made up entirely of politicians? And even more worrying, now we understand why the APC is so desperate to gobble up and eat up every politician. They think that if they corner all the politicians on their corner, on their side, they will win this election in 2027, and they're making a terrible strategic mistake. You can pocket every politician in this country and still lose an election because they are not performing well. Now, regarding Shettima, I have to say this for a minute. Kashim Shettima is an excellent Nigerian, one of the most intelligent people I knew and worked with. Loyal beyond questioning. He is a victim of geopolitics. There are people who think the Muslim ticket needs to be replaced. You need to go for a second term with a Muslim Christian candidate so that you can now bring on board the Christian element. And they keep missing the point. Actually, the truth was that the Muslim ticket has not worked for the Muslims. On the contrary, it has assuaged the concerns of the non-Muslims who thought, oh my God, if we have two presidents, a vice president and a president praying 5 times a day, we are in trouble. Christians are in trouble in this country. They are not in trouble. They were not put in trouble. And on the contrary, they got many concessions that the Muslims in this country didn't get, largely because there was really no substantial difference between having a running mate who's a vice president. He was marginalized. He has been made virtually redundant by President Tinubu. I don't know whether it is because he's a Muslim or whether they have issues, but I think they are not utilizing an excellent vice president in the manner they should. They have massive problems in the north. What they need to do, really, is to use people like Shettima to say, help us to fix the north. But they are not doing that. On the contrary, they're just bringing in governors and bringing in governors and bringing in governors and senators and members of the House around. And they're thinking on 5 weeks to the elections, 10 weeks to the elections, it is these people who can't even face their citizens or their people who voted, who are going to go on the street and tell Nigerians to vote for them, unless they are not planning to have a real election. APC strategy is fundamentally flawed. But that's the way they want to go. And
all right. Okay, thank you so much. So you mentioned something that I think is quite important, and maybe you might just be able to give professor suggestions to the ruling party around being able to engender goodwill in the North. You say that they are not maximizing the potential of having Senator Kashim Shettima as vice president to consolidate the base in the North, particularly at a point whereby there are whispers in some corners, in some instances even loud, around the North feeling marginalized by this administration. Do you agree with that? That's the first question. And the second part is, if you do, what can this administration do better to get that northern support beyond their governors, but actually the people in the states to see that this government is working for them? And then you also talked about the opposition not preferring solutions, but they might disagree, because almost every other day, Mr. Peter Obi, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar are releasing statements based on the prevailing economic security situation in the country, and in some of those statements actually give alternative solutions. Case in point, what's happened in Kaduna State. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has said it today in the reports that he himself would negotiate. He said he wouldn't take negotiations to end violence off the table. He would be more proactive rather than reactive. So they actually do identify the issues and give solutions, or what they would do differently if they were president. What do you make of this? Because in your last statement, you said they were not taking, using the opportunity to give an alternative as opposition members.
Do not get a consolidation loan until you see this. Hey, Mario Lopez here, and if you're thinking about getting a consolidation loan to combine...
Well, let's take the last point you made. Releasing press statements every once in a while when something happens is not defining what you're going to do with the country. It is just simply routine critique of the opposition. Every time the government puts its foot wrong, you get somebody to write a beautiful statement that says, "Oh, this was the wrong way to have done this." What I meant was basically that ADC is operating in an environment where it genuinely has to say what it will do different from what APC is doing. Study APC, where are its limitations, how are they showing, and what will you do to fix them? It hasn't done that. I haven't seen a single document, manifesto, policy statement, no press releases, for goodness sake. I'm talking about, for instance, take security. Should this country look at options as credible options? You hinted that Vice President Atiku says he will not take it off, but expand it. The people in Katsina, in Kaduna, in Sokoto, in Kebbi, in Zamfara, in Niger State, in huge part in Borno, in Yobe, in many parts for the last 10, 15 years, we've been running away from killers of all types. Of all types. What is the ADC going to do in specific terms that differs radically from what APC is doing and looks likely to be a solution? Is our military losing a war we've been fighting since quite possibly 2010, 2011? What do we do with these bandits? Do we simply continue chasing them while we kill a few of them and then they take over villages and our people are living literally in many parts of the north, living under bandits or conditions with that bandits loot? Take the issue of poverty. It is a very, very serious issue. What are you going to do about it? The management of the economy, you hear about all these statistics and all these improvements being released in the ministries and agencies of the government, and yet if they don't translate on how many millions of children are living with malnourishment, how many families go to bed with an empty stomach, how many people are roaming the streets with nothing to do. These are the kind of things that you think a party prepared to replace the APC should be doing. Preparing a document or a publicity strategy that will say to Nigerians, hey, look at us. We can actually fix Nigeria. But they're not doing that. They are busy. 80% of their energy is targeted against each other. APC's energy is targeted at winning the next election, not preparing the people to vote for them. They are so sure with all these politicians in their room, they can literally walk into power. So who's looking after the country? No one. No one. Not the government, not the opposition. That's why we're in such trouble. And that's why, for instance, Americans will look at us and say, oh, the country belongs to politicians or to religious jingoists. We need to fix them. Now, the issue about Shetima, you asked if the APC is in trouble in the north. Yes, they are. They are not just in trouble in the north. They are in trouble everywhere. I don't think they understand that. Because when you read the press releases, which is 80% of how they engage the rest of the country, you really shake your head and you wonder how extensively the people who write these reports or briefs, how extensively they travel. If in a place like Kaduna, a church was raided, they took away I don't play number schemes, but they took away a large number of people. Then the immediate reaction of both the federal government and initially the state government, even the local government, to say, no, nothing of such happened. For goodness sake, what do you want people to think? That either you don't exist in the same country as we do, or you don't care. And I listened to the comments made, and I commend you guys for those comments. It was a horrible thing. I'm very happy that the Governor of Asani retracted and said, no, it did happen. But these are examples of a government not on the ground. They don't understand the poverty, the damage that poverty is doing in the country. They don't understand how citizens who are chased away from villages feel about what it is to live in a country where you can't, as soon as you put your load down, they will tell you they're still coming after you and you're running. In the whole Southwest, in the entire Southwest, There's not a single internally displaced camp. Not because the people don't need it. They roam the streets. But because neither the state nor the federal governments have thought it is important to put places where some of the people have been displaced in Katsina, in Kaduna, in Zamfara, settle these people down. They are Nigerians. They used to farm and live in decent homes and look after their families. Put them in one place. Nobody wants to do that. And the reason why they don't want to do that is because IDPs magnify or show in graphic terms the number of people who have been displaced by criminals and bandits. And these are the kind of things I'm suggesting should be done in the northern part of the country.
Okay, Doctor.
Shetima is very good at doing these kind of things.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
So, first of all, greetings to everyone. Good morning to you all. Thank you for joining me this morning. Guys, please, can you help me double tap on the screen device to like, or click on the three dots on the right hand corner to like the show, please. The likes are very low. Please, thank you as you do so. To the few people that have liked, I appreciate you. Thank you for liking. So guys, please help me double tap your screen device to like. So a few things on this interview. I don't understand why this man, all of a sudden, there's a sudden love for Shetima and they need to praise him. Is it because they suspect that Tinubu hates him as much as we all do, right? He has intentions of changing Shetima and bringing in a Christian vice president, which he should have done from the beginning. This should have happened a long time ago, right? When they were campaigning, but we are here. Not that I care so much about APC, but why the sudden love? Why the preachy? Why it's trying to highlight what if somebody has good attitude and he has the reach that you claim he does, it will show. You won't have to be preachy about it. You won't have to be going on and on about how nice he is, how gentle. We are not seeing it. It's not felt. Maybe you are feeling it in the comforts of your bedrooms or your houses. But in Nigerians are not feeling his presence. Matter of fact, they are receiving the short end of the stick. He is the one that blew the cover completely off for the agenda of jihad in Nigeria by going to the UN to go and talk about Gaza and Hamas instead of talking about the problem in his backyard. And that being said, the other point I want to make is that let nobody gaslight Peter Obi supporters. You cannot gaslight us anymore. You cannot. You will not tell Peter Obi to talk to us. You know how long Peter Obi has been talking to us? We are not interested. We are Nigerians and we have a mind of our own. We choose what we want. We are standing. If there's going to be an election, if they do not divide this country that I'm supporting fully right now, we the Peter Obi supporters are standing behind him unapologetically. We all don't want any apologies. If you do not respect yourself, if you are an elder and you do not respect yourself, you will be disrespected. It's that simple. You guys have had it good in this country for so long. You are coming out and your complaint is that Peter Obi should come out and talk to his supporters. How about you talk to your terrorists? How about putting that right? How about calling out Shegumi, who is the terrorist apologist? How about putting your people in school and giving them the needed education? How about that? How about condemning the evil, the atrocities, the unaliving that is going on in the north? How about that? If ADC knows what is, the only reason why we are even talking about ADC, and you even see their images floating around, is because of Peter Obi. Get that right. That is the only reason. If Peter Obi leaves ADC, all these boards around ABC, ABC will die a natural death. Take it to the bank. It has happened before. It will happen again. So you will not come here and gaslight us. We don't care who you are. We've had enough. You guys have had 60 freaking years to get it together. But you put your religion above others. You've been slowly, connivingly trying to take over other people's ancestral lands. In the Middle Belt now, there are communities that have been deserted because of your children. You are not loud about the terrorists in your communities. We don't see you having meetings and calling them out and holding the people that are sponsoring this and are direct recipients of it. We don't see you holding them accountable. But when it comes to Peter Obi, you guys not dick go they rise. Nobody's going to tell Peter Obi supporters what to do or what not to do. Get that right. We are not children. Nobody paid us to support Peter Obi. No one paid me. I'm spending my time. Do you know how many hours I put in? Just because I want to see a decent Nigeria? Oga, rest. You and your Atiku pack go one side. If Atiku does not do what is right, it is easy. We leave. Even if Peter Obi enter palm wine drinkers club, even if he enter rabbit hole, we are going there with him. People don't understand. You infantilize Peter Obi supporters. Are you people okay? You think we are children? You think you are dumb? Do you think this is the 1960s and 50s? We are the media now. We know what is going on. We see exactly what is going on. If you don't want to be insulted, then respect yourself. Respect your freaking selves. You sit from the comfort of your homes and you are telling people, you are telling us, oh, well, you know, if Peter Obi, if Atiku, we see how you're talking about Atiku. You are talking about Atiku glowingly, but when it comes to Peter Obi, you are like, because it's an issue, because it's an Iboma. Why don't you say the same about Atiku? We see what you people are doing. We don't know na trick. Why don't you say the same thing about Atiku? Atiku has been running for God who knows how long. Let the man go and rest. You know Atiku does not have the popularity. You know that. The only reason why people are supporting him is because of promises. And only God knows how he came about his money, which I'm not willing to discuss right now because we are in a big tent. But please, you guys should check yourselves before you wreck yourselves. We're not having that bullshit talk that you people give us every 2 minutes. Now go national media, go they talk. Now they expose yourselves. Go and tell the Middle Belt people that you have sacked them from their communities. Go and tell them that. Go and talk to them. You are not talking to your terrorists. You are not calling your Gumi to order. Your Gumi is having the audacity to say he will declare war. You people are not serious. Nigeria will divide. If election, I don't even care about election right now. If election will survive till election, it is Peter Obi or nothing. They're not born the MAGA well. When they come tell us or give us or gaslight us about anything, it is PO or nothing if we survive till the election. If we don't, divide the goddamn country. Let the North, the Muslims in the North, the Fulanis in the North, in the small enclave that they belong to, because I know it's not all Northerners that are Muslims. It's not all Northerners that are Muslims. And I'm not talking about the Middle Belt. The Middle Belt is standing on its own. The Northerners that are not Muslims will take a stand. The small percentage of the Muslims should go and be having a party with their terrorist brothers and sisters. They can be doing Dirty December all by themselves and destroy each other. We don't care. This country will be divided. I am glad you guys are showing your bias. You're showing your disdain for Nigeria as it stands. This is how you guys have fooled our ancestors, our fathers for the longest time. You will not fool us. We will not allow ourselves to be bamboozled by you. Your jazz no go work on us. Your jazz no go even work. Nonsense. You people want Peter Obi to talk to his supporters. How about you talk to your terrorists? How about that? How about you put your terrorists in check? How about calling Nuhu Ribadu to order? What is Nuhu Ribadu still doing? How about that? Oga, respect his end. You can't force it. It's a new goddamn day. Get it together. No this and no peace, man. More and more voices are joining. Even the IPOP people. More people are not talking like them. How about that? This is what you people have brought on us. Your people, your Fulani terrorists have not stopped unaliving Nigerians. They have not stopped. 177 community, 177 people, 177 people abducted. We don't hear you speak about it. It's easy to talk about Peter Obi. Very easy. Una never come out the timber, the trailer when they una eye. Una they look the one with the speck when they another person. You wanna leave Peter Obi alone. Wanna worry whether Nigeria go. You people have a lot to worry about. Peter Obi is the least of your problems. It's the least of your problems. It's ridiculous. Every day, Peter Obi, every day. What is the problem? We know he's the consensus candidate. Yes, we are not ashamed to say it, and we will say it and double down. If you people don't like it, go and kick rocks, man. We've had it with you people in Nigeria. Only you Fulani terrorists and your siblings. You people are unaliving Nigerians every day, and you want us to be nice with you. To hell with nice. Rubbish. Peter Obi go be una president, una no get wetin una go fit do. If Nigeria survive am, that is.
Hello everyone. I want to speak about two things. I'm sorry I'm not good in English, but I know I'll do my best to make people understand what I mean. I want to talk about the strike of the United States military under the command of the US President Trump. The attack in the northwestern part of this country in Sokoto State. I had many Islamic scholars and many people in the north who are claiming the attack didn't hit its target. This is totally lie. The United States of America attacked on ISWAP terrorists. It hit its main target. This is the fact. My reason is that if as our people claiming, or some of our selfish people in the north are claiming that the attack kills innocent people, every single day when the terrorists kill people in the northern part of this country, people will share the photos of the funeral, some videos, some people that were injured in the hospital. There is no innocent casualties, even a single person. No one, nobody bringing. Nobody has ever bring the death body of the innocent people that the United States has killed on that attack in Sokoto State. This is totally lie. This attack on ISWAP is not against us Muslims. It's even work for us more than everybody. Because the ISWAP is attacking we Muslim communities. The ISWAP will never get them in Plateau State where Christians are majorities or in Benue State. This is Fulani terrorists who are attacking those Christian areas. But those ISWAP, they are attacking us Muslims. So the attack helps us, but we are always against the reality. What kinds of life we are living in this country? Thanks to Mr. Trump. And we need more equipment, Mr. President. We need more equipment. We need more airstrike by the United States Army so that the United States Army has enough equipment to find out where are the terrorists, where are the innocent lives. And the United States military has equipment that will know where are the terrorists, where our weapons were kept, where they were not hiding weapons. So we need a lot of strike of the United States. Those Boko Haram, they are still inactive. Those ISWAP, they were still inactive. Those Fulani bandits, they were still inactive. They are not even, we Muslims, I don't know what is happening to us. We are the main victims of that terrorism. We are the main victims. But we are against people who come to help. Oh my God. Thank you, Mr. President. You did a great job. You did a great job, Mr. President. You did a great job. I like President Trump. Since on his campaign, he is president of anti-war. He's president of peace. He did the best in his first year in office. He tackled many fightings all over the world. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. You did great. We also need a lot of support. We also need a support.
Your foreign affairs, your foreign minister, Tuga, I can never remember his first name. He blames the escalating insecurity on climate change. You notice how when they go to liberal TV stations, they spew liberal talking points. When they go to conservative TV stations, they use takia. In all the cases, not takia that they use. See, he go blame insecurity on climate change. Niger, see, they even throw young further cousins, maybe they are related, into the trailer, in front of the trailer, and other Sahel nations. You see, you see what the man they try to do? They try to divert attention. They blame climate change. Oh. Now, US lawmakers have vowed action following abduction of Kaduna worshippers. Okay? If you want to read it, it's on Parallel. Let me see if I can pull it up on Parallel News. Let me see if I can pull it up. Now, you guys can go read it. It's on Parallel Facts. Now, bandits demand 28.9 million naira for lost motorcycles before ransom talks for 177, not 66 abducted. Okay, actually 11 escaped. 166 abducted Christians. Now they hear?
It is easy to say that Nigeria economy grew by 4.6%. Is that really correct? In economics, is that really correct? Can you compare Nigeria with Osun State? Or can you compare Nigeria with Sokoto State? That is not the correct. You compare Nigeria with Ghana, you compare Nigeria with United Arab Emirates, and you compare Nigeria with Argentina. So when you are comparing, which currency do you use? You use the dollar. Now, when you look at our GDP 2 years ago, it was $500 billion.
Billion.
What is it? $1 billion. What
Billion.
is it today?
199.
We are now $199 billion. Are we better off or worse off? We are living in our worst days. Pre-Jonathan regime, before we rebase the economy. Before rebasing the economy, we're larger than this. So everybody, per capita income in Nigeria now is nearly above $1, $1,000. What used to be $3,000.
$3,000.
So are we better off or worse off? How can subsidy removal and with quotation be better? The question you should ask is, what should we have done differently? And there are options which were made available, written and in discussion to authority. But the cheapest way is for government revenue to boost, hoping President Tinubu hoped that governors will invest in the economy. Was that done? Was that done? But for a few states that actually reinvested this back into the economy, it's important for people to know the truth. After all, your station is about as it is.
Yes.
You need to say the truth.
Yes, as it is.
This economy is not as strong as it should be. This economy used to be the largest in the whole Africa. Today, the last time I spoke with your correspondent, we were number 4. Today, we are now number 5. And check, the largest economy in Southern America is Brazil. It's also the largest country in population. The largest in North America is the United States. It's also the largest population, the largest economy. Then you now go to Europe and see in Eastern Europe, you see Russia as the largest economy and also the largest population. And go to Western Europe, where you meet Germany, the largest population, largest economy. When you come to Africa, oh my dear black Africa, Nigeria is the largest population. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's not the third, it's not the fourth, now the fifth. So how can those two policies be good? It is more than obvious that they were made out of error, they were made in mistakes, and some of us had provided alternative solution to the government. Whether we will take it or not is another kettle of fish. But we cannot say because we have a deal, look for cutlass and beard ourselves, hoping that all will be well. It's like cutting our nose to spite our face. But well, the result is obvious in the public domain. People that are watching us and are listening to us, you are themselves. Are they better off today than they were 2 years ago? They should ask themselves. When we say that at the end of the tunnel, there will be light, the father of modern economics, macroeconomics for that matter, John Maynard Keynes, he said, and I quote, he said, in the long run, we are all dead. Ask anybody, we will go through pain. When will the pain end? Can they tell you it's going to be 1 year, it's going to be 5 years? Funnily enough, one man seems to provide the answer. Is that we should wait for 10 to 15 years? Can you continue like this for 10 to 15 years? And I asked in 2016, when I was interviewed by journalists, when Christine Lagarde told Nigeria that, don't worry, this economy will not go into a recession. I said, this economy will certainly go into a recession. I'm in Nigeria, I'm an economist in Nigeria, and I know for sure that this economy will go into a recession. Did you know that as against advice Christine Lagarde gave to President Buhari, Nigeria economy went into a recession? Was I happy? No. But is that the truth? That's what economics is about.
Okay, so the U.S. Congress are proposing the division of Nigeria as a strategy to ensure the security, the peace and protection of the Christians in Nigeria. I fully support 100%. Since Fulani say they want to continue to have a killing parade, let them be having it in their small corner, in their one state.
To know, I am calling on Donald Trump, President Trump. The Nigerian government is not serious about fighting insecurity. They are accomplices. They are working with the terrorists. They are covering up. I know, America, you got your intelligence on ground and you cannot be fooled.
But don't believe anything that Tinubu says. Don't believe anything that any of his spokespeople say. They are trying to do damage control. They are more afraid of Donald Trump and the airstrikes because they know the airstrike is going to wipe out these terrorists. And the terrorists that are in Nigeria, the government is the sponsor. The politicians are the sponsors. The people that are saying Donald Trump shouldn't come, there should be no more airstrikes. They are actually the sponsors of terrorism. So we are calling on President Trump, please increase the airstrikes. Let the airstrikes never cease until you take them out. Don't depend on the government. Don't dialogue with the government because the government is not for the people. They want the people to die. They cover up and cover up. They don't want the citizens to know. We have over 4 million people, Nigerians, in IDP camps, and the government is doing nothing. Even in the city, the seat of power, where Aso Rock is in Abuja, Tinubu has not visited any IDP camp. Please, Donald Trump, intensify the airstrikes. We know you have said you're not stopping until the government of Nigeria show that they are serious with bringing an end to terrorism in Nigeria. I want to let you know they are not serious. They are paying lip service. They are pretending. They say one thing to you. On ground is something else. There is a cover up. There is a cover up going on. Please, President Trump, let there be more airstrikes all over Nigeria. Take out the terrorists. Nigerians are helpless in the hands of their government. Nigerians are helpless. Please, Donald Trump. Please, American Senate, come. Remove this rogue government. Remove this rogue regime. They hate Nigerians. They are the enemies of Nigerians. Many Nigerians have been abducted. Many Nigerians have been kidnapped. Many Nigerians have been killed day in, day out. And they cover up and cover up and cover up. The cover up is too much.
One more thing that Baba Ahmed, that his brother, said was that if they don't find any, that they should, if it's not Peter, they can look for a candidate in the West. Say wetin dey happen. It will be firmly rejected. What West? With due respect to my Western brothers, what West? With what Tinubu has done, it's not even supposed to be Tinubu. So you see the game that these people are, you see the words that they're spewing out. He's talking about we can find a candidate from the West that can, displace Tinubu in the West and whatever. Nonsense talk. If it is not a Southeast candidate, if the country is not divided by them, I want the country to be divided by them so we can have Peter Obi for ourselves. The West can keep, to my brothers and sisters in the West, sorry, Oriyomi, you people can keep Tinubu. So I can be strategizing for you people. That one no go fly.
It is unfortunate that we are still where we used to be, even though to a large extent one could confidently say that there's been some bit of improvement.
Guys, please help me continue to double tap the screen device to like if you haven't already done so. To those who have liked, thank you.
But in Kajuru and Fikun local government, to be precise, and also Kauru, there's this cases of kidnapping that seems to be on the rise. In July, I toured some communities in Kajuru local government, and it will shock you to know that these areas are places where there's no government presence, there's no road network, no telecommunication network, no electricity, not even a school. And the people living there are at the mercy of these terrorists. So the terrorists just come in for fun, take women and children and take them to the bush. And sometimes they will release one person and say, you go get ransom for us. So these people have been impoverished. They're actually poor before now. and then they've further been impoverished by these terrorists. So it is a very sad situation. So what happened on Sunday is just because the number was kind of high, that is why it made the headline, but it is a daily occurrence in those areas.
Chiorioni. Okay, I hear you.
You see, I think at this point, it's beginning to get to a point where we're beginning to call for the separation of the country if the need be.
Bam!
Because we cannot have a country where everybody cannot be treated equal. We cannot say we have a country where some are untouchable, some have immunities to whichever crime they deem fit to commit. You get the point? How can somebody in the likes of Sheikh Gumi, who already know his role, his involvement, his support for terrorism and all of that, and he's still untouched? Now, as we speak now, he's now issuing threats to Nigeria and the federal government that if they refuse to make peace with bandits, they should be ready for war. I don't understand. I asked before, would it have been the same case if Gumi was an Igbo man? No, would it have been the same if Gumi was an Urobo man? What if he was from Edo? Would he have this immunity and
Omoye, they go tag him Omoye, throw him inside jail.
He said reject the call for peace or be prepared to endure the brutality of war. Sheikh Gumi wants Nigeria and Nigerian government. I don't know if he said, because he has been calling that Nigerian government should make peace, as in we should all kneel down to beg bandits. So he said that if we reject that peace deal, we should be prepared to endure the brutality of war. And the DSS is dumb and deaf at this. Look at the Katsina state government that have had peace deal with bandits. How are they faring? How is it going over there? How peaceful is Katsina state now? You don't pamper terrorists. You don't make peace with them. You destroy them. That is what Russia do. That is what America do. That's what they do in China. That's what Israel will do. That's what North Korea will do. But it has gotten to Nigeria because we have a terrorist political party called APC with a terrorist government. The likes of Sheikh Gumi can publicly say things like this and nothing happens. Obviously, this is not the Nigeria we're fighting for. This is not the Nigeria we intend to have. This is not our Nigeria we used to know. Who the hell is Sheikh Gumi that has become bigger than the country? Hey, just imagine if I would now say a thing half of this. Because I'm only quoting Sheikh Gumi now. I wouldn't even be surprised that they will come for me for even quoting what Sheikh Gumi has said. I don't know which kind of stupid people we have. Please, the international community, I was calling on Donald Trump again for Sheikh Gumi because it's obvious that Nigeria have failed. Sheikh Gumi is bigger than the Nigerian government.
I don't talk before.
The entire Nigerian security agency, the law enforcement agency. Sheikh Gumi has become untouchable and this guy is doing too much. Sheikh Gumi is a known terrorist. He is a terrorist. See, not just a terrorist sympathizer, he is a terrorist himself. And the DSS are looking for somebody that have posted under a post or have commented under a post on Twitter. No better for now, honestly. You see, for those of you looking at this evil and looking the other way around, you will not end well because you all might think you are in power now. You can use it to oppress. Because if this is happening from any other region, if Gumi is from any other part of the country other than a Fulani, he would be in DSS underground cell to speak now. But guess what? He's untouchable. He said if you reject to beg full terrorists, you should be ready to endure the brutality of war. And Sheikh Gumi is still granting press interview and they're walking free, having the police and military guiding him. Nigeria is indeed a joke. It will get to a point we'll all begin to raise the awareness. Say, let's break this country into pieces.
We are already saying it. Let's separate. I beg. Let's join the other airport people. Let's separate.
When we try to fix the country from animals with the backing of the authority, because if Sheikh Gumi is not having the backing of the people in government, he will not be doing things like this and he is having immunity, untouchable. I don't get it. Please, my people, I don't know what you think about it. If things like this does not annoy you as a Nigerian, then you are not a Nigerian. You are the non-living thing that we're talking about.
Again, no.
This
I
is
beg.
very, very annoying.
I beg.
If he was an Urobo man, if he was an Edo man, if he was an Igbo man, would he dare this? It's very unfortunate anyway. See you guys in my next video.
Now don't hear about yourself. Meanwhile, that one come national network news. They talk about this. He not see this one talk about. He did not come to the national TV to be with fire in his stomach. With another side of the mouth, they are saying the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct. When they say that one not they work, then they want to they declare war. They will declare war on themselves and destroy only themselves. Big.
You call it rubbish,
I
but
listen
then
to his brother when he
your
gets
principal
sense.
in the 2023 contest, Peter Obi, is a member there. So he has confirmed his membership, hasn't he? And has left LP.
I am sorry for my boss, Peter Obi. Go and listen to what he said. He said he is joining the coalition. Listen to the entire Enugu speech. If he said ADC, fine. But me, I know while I was listening on TV, I was going to sip a drink and coming back. I didn't hear him say he joined ADC. He said he joined the coalition. And Peter Obi is a very, very smart individual. I also asked you guys to go and find out if he has submitted his resignation letter to Labour Party.
As a member of Labour Party, you should inform us whether he has such
and the card. Return the card as required to do. So that tells you, did Peter Obi resign Labour? Where is the letter? Did he return the card? And did you hear him say ADC or coalition? Is coalition a political party?
No, he said they adopted ADC. The coalition
Go and
ADC.
listen to it again. Something has to be categorical.
Yeah,
if I give you a check, go to the bank, and I don't include your name and I describe you, I don't think the bank will.
The bank will not respond to you.
Thank you.
Definitely not.
I still feel for Peter Obi. He holds a great deal of promise for Nigeria. It's never too late. I have told him whenever if he doesn't get the ticket, come back.
Now, the election act doesn't permit that you participate in the primaries of a particular political party and then.
Thank you for correcting me. That tells you how much I like Peter Obi.
So are you possibly saying to him that he should come back home, that there's no place for him there?
UB40 used to have a song in the 80s, Baby Come Back. Do you remember it?
Yes.
They should play it for him.
There's no space for him there, that's what you're saying.
Where?
At the ADC.
I think...
You're not seeing the possibility of him getting the ticket?
I don't see him fit ADC. It is a group of disgruntled former APC, including Baba Oziri. I fail to see Peter Obi doing the kind of primaries Atiku does.
Now don't hear go and check the meaning of coalition. I don't tell now. Anywhere Peter Obi enter, we go. If Nigeria does not divide, let us have, in fact, let the country divide so we can have Peter Obi to ourselves. I beg. Ha! Since the people, when the one mouth, unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct. The other mouth, we go to war. Choose one. Choose one. I beg.
The institution of government like the EFCC to persecute and prosecute Nigerians that are not within their own party. If they don't stop, we are going to declare war. I assure you we are not going to keep quiet any longer. I won't allow anybody to criminalize me because I'm not in their party. And I refuse to join their party. And I will not join their party. My family members, my officials are being taken like anything, locked up, without any reason.
Now they talk. When did they switch that time? Now not talk. Buhari do 8 years, now not talk. Atiku says rigging has begun. Atiku condemns Senate over delay of Electoral Act amendments. I don't know whether the Senate don't resume. Meanwhile, Trump says thousands and thousands of Christians unalived in Nigeria by terrorists, they will be hit very hard again. Yep.
Okay, while we're lamenting about the poverty rate in the northern part of Nigeria, let us also not forget that the northern part of Nigeria is the only place in Africa that rejects formal education. In fact, they reject it and hate it so much so that they created an organization to fight it. Because they think that the Westerners are bringing education into their region because they want to Christianize them. And later this organization backfired and began to oppress the people and causing all forms of atrocities. Today, Boko Haram exists because the Northerners hate formal education. And formal education is the key to every society that wants to move forward, because as human beings, we have evolved beyond religion and other stuff that you hold on to up until now. But okay, while we're lamenting about the poverty.
Okay, you guys have heard it in a nutshell. They hate formal education. They don't even want anything. So this is where Trump was saying it in Davos. Listen.
And in Nigeria, we're annihilating terrorists who are killing Christians. We've hit them very hard. They've killed thousands and thousands of Christians. What's that all about?
Okay, so okay. Let me play this first.
On Sunday, to be precise, over 167 Nigerians were kidnapped in the church in Kaduna State. Let me draw a timeline. So it was reported that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government went to pay a lobbying firm in Washington, D.C., $9 million just to, launder their image and try to paint as if there's no Christian genocide in the country. Then what did they do? They hired the New York Press, the New York Times, that released a damning article claiming that an Igbo guy by the name Emeka, a screwdriver merchant, it was his information that the Trump government used in launching an attack in Nigeria, creating a semblance of what we saw in the 1966 coup, trying to make it like it's an Igbo agenda against the government. Meanwhile, forgetting that this same government had come out initially to say that they were the ones in tandem with the American government that came into a conclusion to strike the terrorists in Sokoto. Remember, if you're a Nigerian, you can remember this, that the government tried to claim that they gave America the permission, and they had to backtrack on it and say right now that it is actually Trump, probably because of the heat that they got from certain quarters in the north, they had to backtrack and say it is actually an Igbo man's message that led to them Trump attacking Nigeria. No longer Nigerian government, the kind of people are dealing with. But as reality will happen, on Sunday, few days just after that damning report came out from the New York Times, just a few days after, on Sunday, while people were worshiping in the church in Kaduna State, 167 Nigerians were kidnapped in broad daylight. And the same Nigerian government with their vuvuzelas came out to say it is a lie, it is fake news. In their normal fashion, they will always deny it first. Then a few hours later, when information started coming out that it actually happened, they had to retract their statements to agree, yes, that 167 Nigerians were kidnapped on Sunday. And I look at the social media space. All through the weekend, what we were discussing was VDM versus Billord, Rattles versus Rattles. Who owns app, who does not own the app? Then on Monday to Tuesday, it continued into Tuesday. We entered Whiskey versus Seun Kuti. We are now on I Show Speed, Pella, and the rest. Meanwhile, in our country, 167 people were just kidnapped in broad daylight. And it is like nothing is happening. People that are meant to amplify these things, our social media bloggers are not amplifying these things. Our social media influencers are not amplifying these things. The people that have the platform to put our stories out there are not doing it. It is actually Westerners that are putting this news out there. I did not even see it. I saw it from some foreign people's account on X. So our own reality back home is being amplified for us by foreigners, while Nigerians are living as if everything is okay. Young Nigerians. I will not give up shout on this country because I know that what we're lacking is information and real people coming out to speak truth, not speaking for clout, not speaking for to be noticed, but speaking real truth, because there are so many Nigerians that resonate with what I'm saying right now, but they're scared to speak. or they don't have a platform to speak, right? So I always believe that millions of drops of water can form an ocean. As long as we collectively come out and speak on these issues, Nigeria can begin to have sensible conversations on our social media space. So not when you come out on social media space, all you see is cloud chasers, content creators, pranksters. These are all good, at least in the working system. If for better, it go good, maybe say we get light. Our people are safe and secured. Our tourism is booming. And things are living, we're living well. Our people can afford the basic amenities. Then we have all these kid makers, pranksters, all our young ones are doing what they want to do. It is not better, but not when on a Sunday, 167 people were kidnapped, and it is not main news on social media. Probably what we're waiting for is our celebrities are not talking about it. I'm expecting Bobby to make a video about it. He will not make it. Maybe if Nicki Minaj carry it on her head now, or let's say one of these American celebrities carry it on their head now, and start trending it, you will see a lot of people will just jump into the bandwagon like they really care.
My people, I beg all the new ones that are new commenters, thank you for coming, thank you for stopping by. Please help me to click on the three dots on the right hand side, or double tap your screen device gently to like. Oh, I beg, help me double tap to like. I beg, I dey beg. We're going to come back. I'm going to end it here right now, but I want to end it with this. Somebody did this. No, okay. They're going to ding my channel. It's one of those popular music. So anyway, guys, now here I go end them. I don't shout for today, Rish. Mona, Kenny, nice day. You both should have a wonderful, blessed, delicious day, and I will see you guys on my next one. Oriyomi Osheo, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys on my next one. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye. Oh, my poll. 67% say they support Siam. You don't they overwhelming. Before, we not even they discuss division of Nigeria. We never used to discuss. Thank you very much, IANC Media. I really appreciate that. You understand? To all the gifters, thank you so much for gifting. I really appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate it all. We know they talk about division before. Now, division is on everybody's lips. You see, wetin the small northern population want for Nigeria, the northern Muslims and their Fulani brothers, Fulani terrorist brothers and sisters, when they deserve, they go collect them. Let them go and have a terrorist party in their corner. We will divide that country. Heavens will not fall. So 67%, overwhelming, are in support of dividing Nigeria. We go. I go bring the poll back again. Mo Nigeria na dey o. I go see you later. Bye.